rabbis tell us, Gadola metzuveh ve'oseh mimisheno metzuveh ve'oseh. One who's commanded to do a particular commandment and does so is greater than one who's not commanded and does so anyway. I would think the opposite. Someone who's not commanded, who does a beautiful act, a beautiful deed, should be commended for it. If he's not commanded and you did it anyway, much more than the one who is commanded. But the rabbis tell us no. The one who is commanded has a greater responsibility. He has the yoke on himself. He's being constantly challenged whether he should do it or not. He's therefore rewarded much more than one who's not commanded, who does not have that responsibility, that duty, the sense of duty. Being constantly aware of our responsibility, of our duty to God, is very significant. It weighs upon us. We're rewarded for that, therefore more than one who doesn't have that. Therefore one who observes a Noahide law, or the 7 Noahide laws, and does so because God commanded him, he's always on duty. It's not as easy. He realizes that he's going to be judged. He's going to have to give an accounting before the God when he heads upstairs. He's going to have to give a reckoning. Right? Someone who does not have that mitzvah, someone who does not have that obligation, doesn't feel that way. If he feels good one morning, he'll do it. If he doesn't feel that good, he won't do it. So you see the difference between doing it because God said so. All right, so what do we understand so far? The one who observes the 7 Noahide laws and does so because God commanded him, he's from the righteous of the nations. Well, what if somebody says, but I want to convert to Judaism and fulfill all 613 commandments, not just 7? What should we say to him? Obviously, if somebody wants to do it, we tell him, welcome aboard. But we're not going to encourage it. We're not missionaries, because we recognize that every nation, every human being has his tafkid, has his job, his mission on earth. The Jews have a mission, a very, very clear mission that involves 613 instructions. The rest of the world doesn't have to. So why do it if you don't have to? If you do the 7 and you do the 7 properly, then you've done it right. And we wish for all of humanity to fulfill at least these 7. The world would look like a different place. So obviously, if one wants to convert for the real reasons, he feels drawn to it, then he's welcome. We welcome those who truly, sincerely want to observe God's commandments. But it's not because they're converting because they want to marry someone of the Jewish faith. They're doing it for the sole reason of wanting to observe these mitzvot because they believe that it's the right thing to do. They want to be a part of the nation of Israel. Fine, in that case, okay. But we don't encourage it. We actually discourage it. It's not necessary. A non-Jew can be a very good person, an excellent human being, if he observes the 7 Noahide laws. And he has a share to the world to come. You may have heard that other religions say, if you don't believe like us, you go to hell. You go to Gehenna. You'll never hear that in Judaism. Every human being is created in the image of God. Every human being is special. Every human being has potential. Everyone contributes or can contribute something to the world. We don't look down on anyone, unless, of course, he's evil. That's something else. But a human being who conducts himself properly and does so because God said so, he has a share to the world to come. Even though he wasn't Jewish, it has nothing to do with being Jewish. People always complain, oh, you guys say that you are the chosen nation. That does not mean that we're better. Chosen means chosen for a responsibility. And it's not easy. Not too many who were chosen did a good job. So, is it good? Well, if you do the right things, if you observe the 613 commandments, then of course it's good. You will be rewarded accordingly. But if not, then you're in trouble. Maimonides goes on to explain what the consequences will be for those who do not observe the commandments, the 7 Noahide laws. And even though he's talking really more about an individual, he really means an entire nation as well. Not observing them has consequences. In the same way that observing them is good and will be rewarded, not observing them can have a tremendous impact on a nation's economy, on the weather, on disease, on all kinds of areas in life. That the Torah tells us pretty much in great detail that certain things happen, certain calamities, and certain natural disasters as a result of not abiding by God's law. So this is already a completely different lecture, which we've discussed in the past, as to the meaning behind natural disasters. But natural disasters, when you believe in God, you know that these things are not random occurrences. This is a message from God. You're not doing your job right. Society is falling apart morally. And you can see it in the act of nature. You can see it in many ways. Okay, just to finish up, whoever observes the mitzvot, whoever studies them, will notice that they actually make a lot of sense. It's not something which is difficult for us to comprehend. The human being has a God-given soul, and it is because of this soul that one can comprehend that these things are from God, that these laws are not man-made. They make very good sense to us, and because they make very good sense to us, many, many nations have adopted them. Do you know one country where it's okay to steal? At least in the books, you know. I don't think in the books it says it's okay to steal. What people do is something else. Civilized nations have pretty much accepted this because this is common sense. Our soul, our neshama, understands it, relates to it. Still, it still has to be taught. It still has to be discussed because people forget the importance of them. They forget that it's from God. They forget why it's so important, why it's necessary. Which leads us to another point of people having the wrong attitude about law, about commandments. It limits me. Judaism says Allah does not limit you. It actually brings freedom to you. It brings freedom to you from all your nonsense that you may have in your head, from all the wrong ideas that people develop. The Torah therefore guides us through these laws to make sure that we do the right thing. So is it limiting us or helping us? Rabbis tell us the Torah transforms us to Bnei Chorin, to free men. Without the Torah, we would be slaves of our evil inclination. We would not know right from wrong. Human beings try to teach us what is right and what is wrong, but then it's not always right, and it's not always wrong if it's coming from a human being. But when God teaches us what is right and what is wrong, then we know that it's correct. We need, therefore, the law given to us by God, and not the law given to us by a human being, where even if it is right at a given time, who says that it will be right tomorrow? Perhaps tomorrow they will amend the Constitution and decide on some other law, because people change. You see why society will not last for long this way if you're always changing the laws arbitrarily based on what human beings want instead of what God wants. Anyway, people have to realize that if they live a purposeful life according to these divine laws, their life will be transformed to a more orderly life, to a happier life, a life of meaning and purpose. Therefore, a life where one feels that he's not necessarily chained or limited to the laws, but that he is a free man.